Welcome back, Own Soldier 86 here, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the clipping options that we have in the GoldenEye SAP editor for editing Smash Brothers levels. And I am in clipping mode down here in the left-hand corner, and I've also turned the clipping on. Now I'm going to turn the level off for a second so we can see these clippings a little bit easier. And in a separate occasion, I had added these extra lines here, which might look a little confusing. It is different from how your Congo Jungle originally looked. And what you can do to add extra clippings is you can right-click on any of these nodes and say Insert New Clipping. And as you do that, it will just continue on a trajectory here where your characters can continue to walk. So the character theoretically could be able to walk from here all the way down to here. And granted, it's in thin air, but that's how the program is going to read that. Now, something I should make mention too is that we have different color nodes. We have green nodes, we have teal nodes, and we have pink nodes. And each of these different nodes represents a different flag. What the green represents is simply just an area for the character to walk on or to bump up against. So in other words, if we have an area where the character is going to bump against, say, these walls, we're going to label those, or we're going to flag those as being green. And the way we do that is if we click on any of these nodes, we have a flag option. And without any flags attached, the node turns green. Now, if we want the character to be able to drop through a platform, let's say we had a clipping right here for this particular platform, and we wanted the character to be able to press the down key or the press downward on the control stick, they'll be able to literally flip through this platform and jump down to this area down here. And that's really convenient, especially when we have such a small level here and we want there to be easy access to the whole area. So what we can do is we can flag this as what we call a drop through. And if I get rid of this again, in this node here, if I right click, there is an option for flag. And again, it is checked drop through. If I uncheck that, it turns green. Check it again, it's drop through. And anything that we have connected to this should allow the character to drop through any of these particular points. However, I like to be consistent, I like to make sure that if I want this entire length to be able to be dropped through, I'll flag each of these ones. And actually, as I add new clippings, you'll see that this is still green. Well, what happens is we overlap. So if I hit Control H, I can now edit these. And yes, there it is. We can see now that each of these nodes that we've adjusted here can be moved. And we can see that some of them have the drop through flag and some do not. Now down here, this is pink. And pink refers to grab. And this is where the character will be able to grab a ledge. So if they're down here in the left-hand corner and they're jumping up and trying to recover, they will be able to grab the side of this particular long floor here. And because that is labeled grab. And if I turn that off, now the character cannot grab that edge. Turn that back on. So those are the major factors about the grabbable points and drop through points. And the final thing I'll talk about with clipping is that we can flag these in terms of which room they are associated with. This is a little bit more complicated. For Congo Jungle, it won't matter. But for other levels like Saffron City and I believe, what's the other level that does that? my mind is escaping me right now. Sector Z. If you just decide to insert new clippings, what'll happen is it'll default to clip room mapping 01. And what will happen is that will cause your level to glitch because each of these different room mappings is associated with a different piece of the level. For instance, in Sector Z, 01 refers to the area that the character can walk on the R wing that shows up occasionally as a stage hazard. Well, if you have your entire level labeled as 01 for clipping, it's going to think that that R wing is part of that trajectory, and that's going to completely mess up your level. In fact, it'll crash. It just will not run. So we need to make sure that we have our labels accordingly. For Congo Jungle, we're gonna replace all of these with 01. Okay, and that's not a big deal because as we add more and more clippings, it'll default to 01, and that will be the generic area that our character will be able to walk across. In the next video, we'll continue on with our clipping.